Hello and welcome to the live stream of the 70th anniversary of the Landcruiser. My name is Richard and I will be your host, streaming live from Kingsgrove, which is in southwest of Sydney. We were all supposed to be celebrating in Broken Hill right now, but that just didn't happen. So my first shout out today goes to Daryl and his team from TLCC South Australia. They put a huge amount of effort into the organization of that event, and it just all got cancelled only just a few weeks ago. We were all pretty devastated. Which leads me to my second shout out, which goes to Andrew. He is the reason, or Andrew from TLCC Australia here in Sydney, he is the reason why we are doing this live stream event. He picked up the phone, called and asked if we could pull off an event like this one. And we all love a good challenge. So it was on. A few phone calls later and a Zoom meeting with TLCC clubs around Australia, and here we are. We were supposed to have a 40 series behind me on the set as the backdrop, but that didn't happen either. So just a few days ago, we had to revert to something different. Thank you, Phil. Shout out to you for trying to get it here. We did everything we could, but it just didn't happen. So this is my car, nicknamed Chook, because it came with 7 eggs when I bought it a few months ago. That's a long story. I can share it with those of you who want to know more, but right now let's move on with this show. We were also supposed to have 2 presenters today, but my co-host Mary was not able to travel to this studio, so it's just me today. There's also a group of people who are now working behind the scenes, making this event possible. So I'm going to do something a little bit off script. You'll know that this is live because we don't generally do this. If we can get the wide shot, Ricky. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to pick up a camera here and I want to show you behind the scenes. There we go, Ricky. If we can switch to the camera, there we go. This is Ricky and we have Damien there. This is all the tech that's running behind the scenes. Damien is doing sound, Ricky is doing switching, and we have our cameras and lights over here. And we have somebody who's virtual. That person is in Blacktown and his name is Adrian. Hello, Adrian. Adrian's in Blacktown and he's pressing all the buttons to make sure the videos are running and coming in at the right time. So it's not just an iPhone and a couple of lights and a microphone. This is quite a big production and we're super proud that we could bring this to you. Because 70th, it's worth it. So what are we planning for today? Today's live stream is made up of lovely pre-recorded presentations from the Landcruiser clubs of Queensland, Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia and New South Wales. Each presentation was made by each club to give you an appreciation of where they are, what they do and how they're using their much-loved Landcruisers. Andrew, who's in Sydney, will be joining me live to do a chat with Koyari-san from Japan, one of the chief engineers of Landcruiser. And we're also going to cross to Orlando from Toyota Australia in Melbourne. He is apparently making a news-breaking announcement. I don't know what it is, but apparently you'll hear it first here. So, breathing. The Landcruiser, 70th anniversary. What a great milestone. I thought I'd share with you a few statistics. The Landcruiser was first launched as the Toyota BJ in August 1951. Its name was changed to Landcruiser in 1954. 10.4 million vehicles have been sold. 300,000 units per year in over 170 countries across the world. Now that's impressive. 70th anniversary. How exciting. I am absolutely pumped. The Landcruiser, it started with a tradition of striving to deliver safety and security, with a promise to take you anywhere and everywhere and come back alive and safe. That's pretty important. On the back of those dreams, Toyota Landcruiser clubs across Australia were formed. 6 separate state-based clubs with thousands of members, all with a common love, the Landcruiser. So today is our turn. It's the club's turn to take you anywhere and everywhere over the next hour and a half to celebrate 70 years of cruising the land. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, brought to you by your very own TLCC clubs around Australia. Right, now, first up, let's travel over to Queensland. For those of you who are watching from overseas and may not know, Queensland is northeast of Australia and is the second largest of Australian states and territories. Queensland is huge. You can fit Japan nearly 5 times into Queensland, it's that big. It has sandy beaches, tropical rainforests, deserts and savanna. My favorite is the Daintree. I love that place, the Daintree Rainforest. If you haven't been there, go there and have a look. The cassowaries are just beautiful. And that state, Queensland, is perfect for a Landcruiser. So, over to you, Queensland.
My name is Bill Fawkes. I'm a life member and patron of the Toyota Landcruiser Club of Queensland. Our president, Ronald Pascoe, is currently travelling in the outback and sends his apology. The club was formed on the 23rd of February 1972 after Toyota asked the owner of Swift Motors, Fred Dyke, to assist in forming a club of like-minded people who owned Toyota Landcruisers. Fred, along with Mr Garrity of East Toyota Sydney, organised the meeting of our club and our club was formed. Fred became the first president and then our first patron, followed in this role by his wife Avery and then Dave Williams, who was the chief mechanic at Swift Motors. My wife Vicky and I joined the club in 1983 with a Nissan Datsun 720, but realised the capabilities of the Toyota Landcruiser and have owned a 60 series and an 80 and a Prado and now a 200 series. Our motto of friendship, four-wheel driving and fun is as much alive today as it had been during the formation of our Queensland club. Much of our four-wheel driving takes place in southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales, but of course we take advantage of our magnificent islands lying just off the coast of southeast Queensland and run memorable trips to Stradbroke Island, Moreton Island, and of course the world-renowned Fraser Island, being the largest sand island on the planet. Vehicles have changed over the years due to compliance, technology, capacity and towing capability requirements and innovation. What hasn't changed is the legendary Toyota capability to be responsive to the market needs and the individualisation through modification. Our current membership stands around 230 vehicles. Next year, our club will celebrate 50 years, which is a great achievement for us. We were one of the founding members of Four Wheel Drive Queensland. Since its inception, we have had members on various senior executive and operational positions. We were also one of the founding members of what is now called Four Wheel Drive Australia, with Queensland member Jan Scudamore being one of the executives for many years. Jan also was the founder and CEO of Tread Lightly Australia. This national land use ethics program was instrumental in bringing together all indoor and recreational users in industry and government departments to assist outdoor recreation and the environment. Our club is currently coordinating for the 4th time a gathering of all the Four Wheel Drive Queensland affiliated clubs. This event, referred to as a corroboree, will occur in October this year at Stanthorpe in the Granite Belt in the Southern Downs. We run nationally accredited driver training courses from basic to advanced levels, including recovery, training and sand driving courses. To date, we have a total of 105 of those. All through the club's life, members have assisted the community and governments in various projects. Members have been on forestry, national park and local government advisory committees for management and planning, especially for outdoor recreation. In the past, we used our skills removing wrecked vehicles and large items of rubbish from local and state government areas in southeast Queensland. Also, we have conducted training with Bushfire Brigade groups to assist their volunteers. The club is heavily involved in the annual Fraser Island clean-up in conjunction with Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service and Four-Wheel Drive Queensland. The first clean-up was run in 2001, and there has been a phenomenal amount of rubbish collected over those weekends by all the clubs involved. Currently, we run an Adopt a Track program in conjunction with Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service. We assisted in track classification and signage prior to the Commonwealth Games where mountain bike events were held. In years gone by, our club members have built barbecues for children and handicapped persons sheltered, assisted the sporting wheelies by taking their members on four-wheel drive outings, and often helped with the Smiths family Christmas deliveries. In 2007, our members were at the South Australia Toyota Gathering in the Flinders Ranges, where the 200 series was released. Then, in 2013, we assisted at the Brisbane Off-Road Show for the release of the FJ. Previously, in 1996, on Mother's Day of all days, members assisted Toyota in the 90 series Prado release, helping with track setup, assisting with advertising and supplying drivers. Toyota Queensland often gave us new vehicles to test drive on club trips, a great experience and enjoyed by all who participated. As previously mentioned, we have plenty of beach driving in our state along with mountainous trails, and added to this are the vast distances stretching to Cape York and the Gulf and out to Birdsville and the Simpson Desert, making the need for a capable and reliable vehicle a must. Many of our members live for long-range touring and towing. The support network provided by Toyota in most remote areas and their vehicle reliability leaves other manufacturers in the dust. Toyota has delivered this over the years, and almost suddenly we realised that it is 70 years of Landcruiser in Australia. We had a convoy going to Broken Hill to join in the celebrations, but due to COVID restrictions, this event had to be rescheduled. We would like to thank South Australia for planning the original 70th anniversaries of the Toyota Landcruiser in Australia celebration, and New South Wales for organising a replacement virtual streaming event on the actual anniversary day. The Toyota Landcruiser Club of Queensland congratulates Toyota on this great 70-year achievement.
Thank you very much, Bill, and everybody from the Toyota Landcruiser Club in Queensland. That was a fantastic presentation. It's so lovely to see how much volunteering and how much these four-wheel drive clubs are helping. So well done there and well done. I can't wait to get back into Queensland to do some more four-wheel driving. Let's head down to the coast to Victoria. Beautiful Victoria. This state is a bit smaller, second smallest in Australia, but packs a punch. With so much to offer Landcruiser four-wheel drivers, from snow to beaches and the much-loved Victorian high country, Otway Ranges, Snowy River National Park, just to mention a few. Take it away, Victoria.
Good evening, fellow Toyota four-wheel drivers from across Australia. I'm Ian Ross and I'm the president of the Toyota Landcruiser Club of Victoria. We wish you all well from Victoria and hope that you can soon all get back on these roads of ours, enjoying our great country. Whilst we couldn't come together to celebrate the anniversary of the Landcruiser in person, it's great that we have this opportunity tonight to not only celebrate the vehicles, but the ongoing success of the Toyota Landcruiser Clubs of Australia. The Victorian Club has a healthy number of Landcruiser fans in its ranks, with the single and dual cabs together with the wagon growing in popularity in recent years, both as tow vehicles but as very competent four-wheel drives, particularly as proven in the Victorian high country and extended touring around Australia. 70 years is indeed a significant milestone, and we hope that the variant will continue long into the future, albeit with ongoing development and evolution. Just as we've seen with the LC300, it's often difficult to improve on an already brilliant product. This year our club has been working closely with Toyota Australia in putting together an evaluation program for the LC300. which was to have been held at our extensive club property at Yark just this last week. It would have brought together TMC personnel and dealers from across Australia to acquaint them with the real-world capabilities of their flagship wagon. Unfortunately, COVID-19 restrictions have forced this event to be rescheduled. One of the strengths of the Toyota Landcruiser Clubs of Australia is our strong relationship with the manufacturer of the vehicles that we love and drive, and how different states have strong working relationships with Toyota through long-standing dealerships and the company itself. Here in Victoria, we pride ourselves on this relationship and heartily congratulate Toyota on reaching this significant milestone of 70 years for the Landcruiser. Despite COVID, our club continues to prosper with many new members joining us. We've become experienced at presenting interesting online meetings with live speakers, videos and club information. Whilst certainly curtailed, we've still been able to run a fair number of trips, including extended trips around Australia. We've recently added to our extensive facilities at our club property at Yark with the construction of a comprehensive new multi-purpose building, substantially for conducting education and training courses. I wish you all well tonight and happy anniversary, Toyota. I'm pleased to now introduce for you a short video on the activities of our great club.
Thank you, Ian, and the team TLCC in Victoria. What a fantastic presentation. I love the drone shots following the cars. I'm a drone operator myself. I do video work and in between the trees. It didn't look easy, so well done, and thank you so much for putting that together. I think I might be moving to Victoria. Your properties look stunning. Well done for everything and all your volunteering work. I'm very impressed, as are, I'm sure, all the other TLCC members watching from around. Just a quick note on that. You should all be watching either via Facebook or via the streamitnow.com.au website. I hope it's all going well and the stream is coming out loud and clear for you guys. Please make sure you comment, do some, share it around, take some screenshots, share it everywhere, write some comments, be nice about my presentation, be gentle. But we hope it's all going well out there, and here's a shout out to all of you out there as well. Right, we're now heading south. Let's head to South Australia. This state covers some of the most arid parts of Australia. It's the 4th largest of Australia's states and territories. South Australia shares borders with all the other mainland states as well as Northern Territories, smack in the middle, or more or less south, but in the middle, sharing borders with everyone. And that's wonderful. And I didn't know that. I'd never paid attention to that until the other day when I was looking this up. So now over to you, South Australia, for your presentation.
I'm Alan McIntyre. I'm president of the South Australian chapter of the Toyota Landcruiser Club, and I'd like to congratulate Toyota on the 70th anniversary of the Landcruiser. I'd just like to show you my collection of Landcruisers. I'm fairly passionate about the Toyota brand, as you can see. They're very strong, reliable vehicles, and if you drive out in the outback, that's pretty much all you're going to see. So the vehicles I've got, the newest one is a 2018 200 Series Sahara, which I've only used for road trips. It hasn't been in the real rough stuff as yet. It's had a suspension upgrade in case I ever decide to buy a large caravan to tow around. My main use for a drive vehicle is the 79 series. That's a 2010 model. It's had suspension upgrade, chip upgrade, and that gets used for all of my sort of off-road touring generally. It's been up to Kenny Stock Route, it's been across the Central Desert a few times. Lots of beach driving in South Australia. In fact, in South Australia we're very fortunate that we have access to huge areas of sand close to Adelaide, and we do a January long weekend trip down to Beachport to the sand. And my third vehicle here is a 90 Series Prado, which I've owned since 2001, and that's been to a lot of places in Australia. It doesn't get much work now, it's just a bit of a runabout, but it's been to Cape York, it's been to the Kimberleys, it's been across the Central Desert several times, and a lot of other sand driving trips. So that's my collection of Toyota vehicles.
Slideshow. I'm lost for words. I was reading the text there on the screen there just as it ended. Alan, thank you very much for putting all that together. You had a bit of sound difficulties when you created that video. We had a chat with you guys. That's why we put the subtitles, because the wind picked up and then they weren't able to go back out and do it a second time. That's why we had those subtitles there for you. But impressive Landcruiser collection there, Alan. If you got one too many, send it over this way. I'm sure we can use it. And also, something that really dawns on me, I'm watching these videos at the same time as all of you guys are around Australia and possibly in other countries around the world. And it's amazing just how much help and volunteering these clubs do to clean up, to assist, to do all the good things. And I know that sometimes four-wheel drivers have a bit of a bad name because their cars in the countryside. But when I look at this, I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful what everybody does. Everybody puts their hands together to volunteer and help. All that cleaning up. 16,000 cactus. Is it cacti or cactus? I'm not sure. 16,000 culled. That's really impressive. So well done, South Australia. Very, very proud of you. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that I've never been to Western Australia. I feel awful, and I make you a promise. I will visit as soon as I can. Western Australia takes up over 30% of the land in Australia. It's our largest state. If you place Western Australia over Europe, it would go from the tip of Scotland down all the way to the most southern point of Italy. It's massive. Just the perfect place to drive a Landcruiser and get lost and found again. Let's take in the beauties of Western Australia.
Hi there, my name is Nesta Bar, and I'm the lucky president of the Toyota Landcruiser Club in Western Australia. 70th birthday cheers to Toyota. Cheers to the friendship shared through our Landcruisers. Cheers to Toyota. Our Toyota Landcruisers are our treasured possessions, enabling adventure to the trickiest of places. In the early years of our club, the first community project was hauling rusting, abandoned vehicles out of the bush. And there were plenty of 40 series in the club at that time. That was the start of our community contributions, and that willingness continues. Landcruisers are the avenue by which we put in an enormous annual volunteering effort. For 20 years, the club has supported a West Australian charity, Canteen, that raises funds for teenagers affected by a cancer diagnosis. This charity totally relies on club members' convoy skills to lead, protect and support their charity riders over a 3-day gruelling ride. Up to 150 riders travel predetermined routes over country roads and tracks, being protected by our members driving Landcruisers front and rear. It's a community project led by super dedicated members. The on-road event requires 16 convoy teams. That's 32 members for a 3-day event. All the planning and the meetings that go on behind as well, and it all adds up to a huge 1,700 volunteer hours. For the off-road event, it has 12 convoy teams for 3 days, and all that admin and recce's at the back of it as well. It adds up to a massive 1,500 hours. Last year, our members put in 492 volunteer hours on an iconic heritage trail 5 hours out of Perth. It's the Holland Track. Since 1997, club members have been out there erecting signs, repairing, brushing damaged areas, and once diverted the track to protect a malleefowl nest. No longer purely a heritage trail, the Holland Track has become a must-do four-wheel drive adventure. Unfortunately, not all track users are responsible users, and sometimes our cruisers are morphed into rubbish trucks. Back in the 1890s, the Holland Track was cleared to provide a short route for foot and cart from the southern port of Albany to the gold prospecting areas of Kalgoorlie and Coolgardie. The club partners with the Outback Grave Markers Group to research and locate these early pioneer graves. Then the last resting place is respectfully marked with a specific aluminium plaque. Last year, the club was engaged by a prospector's family to locate his pioneer grave. And find it they did, and brought success to our crew. Put 452 hours on that. 2 hours south of Perth is the ecologically diverse Dryandra bushland, home to the state fauna emblem, the numbat. Since 2007, the club has collaborated with the Department of Parks and Wildlife and has been sending working teams there to help keep the area accessible to visitors. Improvements have established information shelters, trail markers, bollards and drainage culverts. Through the consistent leadership of stalwart members, the club has been proud to be presented with 2 awards by the State Minister. We count 630 hours spent there last year. Four-wheel drive clubs, the Conservation Council and a North Metropolitan Coastal Shire teamed up in an initiative called Tending the Tracks. On coastal dunes recognised as unstable and endangered because of erosion, our club laid brushing in large areas to enable seed germination. Four-wheel drivers brushed and put in bollards, leaving 1 track instead of many tracks. The change in 1 year through revegetation is just remarkable. We put in 242 volunteer hours here last year. The club has been successful in a partnership with City Toyota. As part of the club's community contribution, members pull on a Planet Ark t-shirt and meet up with City Toyota representatives at an inner suburban primary school to assist children to transform their trampled and unloved areas into nurtured little native bushland gardens. 26 hours of fun were put in here. Well, did you have your calculators ready? It's a cracking 5,042 hours given in just 1 year, and we're proud of our reputation for giving to the community. A club of 105 memberships giving 48 hours each annually. Our members have used the Royal Flying Doctor Service, and I'm sure your clubs have too. At our meetings, the RFDS collection tins move amongst the crowd so that we are all comfortable when an emergency call has to be made. And one day, when it's made, we've paid our due. Next year, the club will support the Outback Air Race for the 3rd time through a WA team. Now we're going to the big ticket item. I say to you all, COVID willing, come west, come west. October 2022 is our national gathering, and Western Australia invites you all. Our members are gearing up. They want to host you in Margaret River at a central location called Annie Brook. The location is gorgeous. The region's treasure trove of delights are just magic. There's wildflowers, tracks in tall timber, surf beaches on a pristine coastline. Your Landcruiser can easily take you into wine, chocolate, cheese and art country. We want to take you there too. 5 days of trips. Our members just really want to show you it all. So come on, come over to the West. Start your planning now. I forgot the 300 series, that much awaited 300 series. It's an exciting prospect for our four-wheel driving future. But I must say, I really love my 100 series. Birthday cheers to Toyota from Western Australia. Thank you for those marvellous machines. Toyota, oh what a feeling.
Just hold it there, guys. Sorry, I am putting those dates into my calendar right now. I am going to be there October 2022. Nesta, thank you so much for that fantastic presentation. 5,042 hours in 1 year. That's incredible, Nesta. Where do you find all those hours? No, of course, it's a group effort. And I'm going to ask all the Toyota Landcruiser clubs around Australia, could you do us a favor and try and calculate over the last year how many volunteer hours you would typically put in? Let's get all those numbers together so that we can put together a total number approximately of hours that Landcruiser clubs are doing every year to volunteer and to help around the country. Could you do that? Possibly Andrew, who's our promotions manager. You guys can email him, gather all that information, email him. We'll put it all together and then we can publish it. I am absolutely blown away. Right, these presentations are fantastic. I'm really, really enjoying them. But I'd like to take a quick break from these presentations, as we'd like to now cross over to Andrew, TLCC Australia's Promotions Officer, who is with Koyari-san, Toyota Corporation Landcruiser engineer. I told you we'd have a bit of some guests coming in from internationally, and he is from Japan. Andrew's in Sydney, so a huge welcome to both of you. Are we seeing them? Yes, hello. I'll hand over to both of you for a quick chat.
Thank you, Richard. Welcome, Koyari-san, to Landcruiser Club 70th anniversary celebration. I just wondered if you'd like to say a few words to the Landcruiser clubs and our audience all around the world.
Hello, everyone of the TLCC Australia. This is Koyari from Japan. Short message from me. First of all, thank you for such an opportunity online. Thank you for celebrating the 70th anniversary with you on this day. I also thank for your continued Landcruiser Club activities for over the 50 years. Also, thank you for your warm hospitality during my visit. It's my fun memory. It's enjoy this time online with you after this. Finally, please continue to use the Landcruiser for a long time. Thank you for your continued cooperation.
Thank you, Koyari. Over to you in the studio, Richard.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Koyari-san. Thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate that you've taken the time to come into our live stream and say a few words for everybody. How fantastic. This technology is also quite amazing. You know, here we are, we're in Kingsgrove. Andrew is in, I think, is it Terry Hills or somewhere on the north side, and Japan with Koyari-san. That is quite amazing and all done live. Thank you very much. And thank you, Adrian, our tech person in Blacktown. Thank you, Reki and Damien, who are in here as well, working hard to make sure that this live stream is running beautifully. And now, we travel back to the East Coast, to New South Wales. New South Wales is the oldest state in Australia. It is also my home state and where I do the majority of my land cruising, and I simply love it. From the Snowies to Cameron's Corner, through the Warrumbungles. Shout out there to the Warrumbungles. It's just a beautiful place. And there's just so much to discover in New South Wales. So over to you, Bob, in New South Wales.
It is a great pleasure to be involved in talking to members of the Toyota Landcruiser clubs from the various states of Australia. Foremost, of course, congratulations to the Toyota Motor Corporation on the 70 wonderful years of Land Cruisers throughout the world. Here in New South Wales, we are proud of our promotion of responsible and sustainable four-wheel driving in a family-based format and our long history of excellence in driver training. Over the years, we have run the Willow Glen Challenge for competition-type drivers and vehicles. The competitors provided memorable long weekends for our members and also provided funding opportunities for local groups around the Tarago area, who provided food, coffee and other services to the challenge spectators and organisers alike. That this streaming event was possible for us all, given restrictions forced upon us by COVID and the time differences between the eastern states, central states and western state, is a testament of the cooperation of all state representatives. I'm sure that we will all long for the time when COVID is something we are able to live with and state borders are once again open to all Australians. We currently have a TLCC group working their way through Western Australia, having travelled through South Australia, Queensland and the Northern Territory. And yes, they left prior to the current problems here in New South Wales. Having celebrated our 50th anniversary in 2019, some few months prior to COVID, we hope that Darwin, who have celebrated their 50th recently, and South Australia, who will be celebrating in November, are able to have such celebrations without being restricted. Whilst not sure if our experience has been universally shared, we have been astounded at the number of new members joining our club, many due to COVID and the fact that they are unable to travel overseas and are deciding to purchase a four-wheel drive and travel Australia. Many of whom are sensible enough to seek four-wheel drive training for driving in remote areas and being able to recover themselves or fellow travellers when trouble besets them. And as we all know, trouble does and will always happen. In conclusion, we hope that you all enjoy this event and we hope to be meeting many of you when we can visit your state again or when you can visit ours. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Yeah, we're in the Canangara Boyd National Park. It's been great driving through a bit of snow.
1.5 days out in the Abercrombie National Park, seeing the most beautiful sights, a lot of wildlife, a top-class weekend. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, everyone. Get onto the tracks. Just do it. It's awesome.
Congratulations and best wishes to the Toyota Landcruiser Club on the achievement of 50 years.
I'm Peter Alexander, and my parents joined the club in 1983, Rob and Carol Alexander, with their 55 Series Land Cruiser.
I bought my first Land Cruiser in 1967, but I didn't join the club till 1971.
Congratulations TLCC, it's 50 years, make another 50 years come.
So I learned that tyre pressures are key today, and that you need to have the right tyre pressures, otherwise you'll end up just getting bogged.
Especially when we're going up the dune. Oh, my dad, he had to boot it. He booted it and booted it and booted it and booted it and booted it. I don't know how many boots, but...
Another great sand driving course on Stockton Beach, and an excellent group of people. A great deal of fun for the instructors and the people who came along.
So you're coming forward now?
I'm behind car 6.
Yeah, keep in mind there's multiple turns in multiple directions here, so you do end up indicating 3 times through this negotiation. Now you don't need to be in 1, maybe 2, but you've got to give it some more oomph.
Okay, what I want you to do is come back maybe a metre, nice and steady.
I'll be leaving the convoy at this point.
So never done any four-wheel driving at all before. We've had our Land Cruiser for about 3 months now, but only been driving it around Sydney.
I was a bit nervous, more excited than nervous, but there was a bit of nerves there.
For anyone thinking about doing it, it's probably a good idea not to do it.
You will be looking after and be responsible for the vehicle behind you. They get lost, it's your fault. Simple as that.
Thumbs up.
End up forward and take up the space of the previous car wheels to the left.
One drawback with the smart barrows, when
I would have avoided that in the past, so good to know what it feels like.
It was sitting by the seat of your pants, sliding down the hill with no brakes.
Watching it actually made me quite apprehensive, but actually doing it to the second one, even though the car slipped, it wasn't as scary, and you actually felt more in control than I thought.
But if you do it, it's probably one of the best things you'll ever do.
Most of all, I'm impressed by what the car's capable of.
Before yesterday, I would have gone, well, if I came across this in reality, I would have done a 3-point turn and gone back the way I'd come.
The trainers are all volunteers. They've obviously been in the club for a long time. They've got a lot of skill, a lot of knowledge. They've been on trips, they've been there and done it. So, and look, they're there to help you and to take you through it, which is terrific.
Really good. They give you they're really clear with what they want you to do, and they give you comments, so they'll be directing you as you go down the different obstacles, and then as you go past, they'll go, well done, great there, that kind of thing. So they give you encouragement as well, which is really nice to have.
Well, when we meet the people on Tuesday, number one, I try and sum them up and get a feeling whether they're going to be a good social group, a good driving group, and you can see the nerves starting to kick in. But by the end of Sunday, smiles are abundant, and they feel so fantastic about themselves and about the capability of their vehicles.
It's beyond what you ever think you could possibly do. It's scary, it's full on, but the people that look after you they're just ordinary people, but they're professionals, and they're calm, cool and collected, and they get you through it. And the bloomin' Toyota Prado, I put my trust in, and it was just awesome.
I love that video. We put that together a few years ago for the driver training team, and every time I watch it, I just crack up, especially the lady called Janelle. You wouldn't believe that woman. During the entire training weekend, she was petrified. She was just so scared, and at the end she was so excited, and she kept telling me, no, I will not do an interview, I will not talk to you, no way, no way. At the end, when we were interviewing people and getting some comments, she said, oh, fine, and she sat down and she gave me that gold piece where she said, if you're thinking about doing, you shouldn't. And then she said, but if you do it, then it's probably the best thing you'll ever do. She was gold. So Janelle, if you're watching, my hat off to you. You made that video. We watch it for every driver training. We watch it at the start of every driver training with all the new members. And it's just perfect. I love it. Well done. Thank you, Bob, for your message. That's wonderful. Now, we're coming towards the end. We're nearing the end of our anniversary celebration. But there's one very important person I would like to introduce. And to compose myself, I'm so excited. I get a bit carried away every now and then. And right now I'm a bit carried away. But this is good. This next segment is from Toyota Australia, based in Melbourne. When Andrew spoke to them about this anniversary live stream that we were putting together, they were very excited and they asked to be part of it. And I believe they're going to make a world first announcement in just a few seconds. Now, I do not know what it is, but Whatever it is, you heard it here first. I believe that all the news outlets are going to be told in a couple of hours, but right now, right here, you're going to find out what it is. It's my great pleasure to welcome, live from Melbourne and Sydney, Orlando from Toyota Australia and Andrew from TLCC Australia. Over to you both.
Welcome, Orlando, and thanks for joining the Toyota Land Cruiser Club of Australia 70th anniversary Land Cruiser celebration. A very warm welcome to you and to Toyota Australia.
If you would permit me to just say a few words to begin with. So first of all, just on behalf of Toyota Australia, I'd really like to thank all of the Toyota Land Cruiser clubs for their support over many years. And in that, I'd like to thank each of the individual clubs from New South Wales, South Australia, Western Australia, Victoria, Queensland, and Darwin. Now, we obviously really appreciate your love for the product and your loyalty that you have, but also the advocacy that you give for Toyota in general. But one of the things that we really value about your clubs is the sense of community and belonging that you create and how much you give back to all your communities. We've seen in the videos that you've just presented how much effort and time you guys put in, and we love that about your clubs. We're also very grateful for how your clubs help members prepare to go out and explore Australia and really feel safe and comfortable while getting to see more of this beautiful land, while also being responsible and taking care of it. And of course, making sure that people use Land Cruisers for what they were built for, which is to go out and explore. And especially now at a time where overseas travel is limited, we're seeing more and more people wanting to go out and see more of Australia. So we'd really love to see your clubs continue to grow in numbers and strength as you continue to guide more people to explore our country. So we just wanted to say thank you for all the good work that you do. But as mentioned, today we do have something very special to reveal to you. This has been shown to you, as mentioned before, to all of you before anyone else outside of Toyota. So you're the first in the world to hear about this. It's an upcoming special edition of the Land Cruiser that has actually been created to celebrate the 70th anniversary here in Australia. And as mentioned, this will be announced publicly very soon. So I have a presentation just to take you through the details of that, which I think is being presented on screen now. So there it is. You can see it on screen. The 70th anniversary special edition, which is built off the LC70 series. This vehicle will be arriving in September of 2021 with a volume of 600 vehicles in total, which is 200 single cab, 320 dual cab, and 80 wagon versions of what you can see on screen with 3 colors, French vanilla, Merlot red, and sandy taupe. Can you go to the next screen, please? Actually, I'm in control of that, sorry. The exterior changes. Now, this is what this special edition will be gaining on top of a GXL. So there is a 70th anniversary emblem, which you can see on the rear 3/4 panel. There will be a Land Cruiser heritage badge, as you can see in that sort of blown up image towards the bottom center that will go on the door. There will be black bumpers and black over fenders, as well as darkened alloy wheels. And you can also see some darkened headlamp bezels and LED front fog lamps and daytime running lights. So it gives it a much sort of darker, tougher look to it in general. On the interior, it will be gaining black synthetic leather seats, a leather accented steering wheel with good wood grain look trim, a leather accented gear knob, silver accents around the air vents, a wood grain look instrument panel, black trim surrounding the door switches, and a new center console design with an additional 2 2.1 amp USB ports for people who are, I guess, taking a lot more electronic equipment out there these days, having more capability to recharge those. So that's it. That's the announcement for this world first announcement for anyone in the public to know about this special edition, which will go on sale in September. So by all means, talk to your local dealer if it's something that you're interested in getting. But we're hoping that this will really sort of cement this great anniversary in people's minds and give something special to sort of look back on and remember.
Thanks, Orlando. I'm sure we'll see a lot of those filter in and around the Land Cruiser clubs Australia-wide. I've just got a couple of questions from Land Cruiser Club members Australia-wide. I was just wondering if you could, you'd have some time this afternoon to possibly answer some of those questions.
Yeah, I would love to.
Orlando, would you know how many Land Cruisers have been sold in Australia?
So, since the first Land Cruisers were brought into Australia in 1958, Australians have bought more than 1.14 million Land Cruisers. So in the world, that makes us the second biggest market for Land Cruiser, just after the Middle East, with Russia coming in third. And we've sold almost every model here in Australia, but we are actually proud to say that we still hold on to one of the very first FJ25s imported into Australia. It's actually kept at Altona, and it's affectionately known as the old number one. So yes, long proud history in Australia.
Wow, that's a stunning figure. Thank you. Just another question. The members are seeing a few reports about the new model Land Cruiser, the LC300. What testing has been undertaken on the new Land Cruiser?
Well, look, I'm sure that a lot of your members really want to know a lot of details about the LC300, and we will be revealing more in due course. But I guess one of the key things about this new Land Cruiser is that there has been extensive testing done here in Australia, and it actually began all the way in 2014. There was a test regime as part of what was known as the 5 Continents Drive, which Toyota has held globally. So at that time in 2014, some LC200 production vehicles were driven for over 20,000 kilometres in 72 days. And this was the beginning of that sort of testing for the new Land Cruiser. So it not only tested Land Cruiser in sort of off-road environments, which we tend to cover about 80% of the world's toughest environments here in Australia. So that's why we're chosen as one of the test centres, but also got to test vehicles on highway as well. But as a part of that, there was a lot of engineers that came over from Japan and were able to actually talk to owners to get their insights on how the vehicle could be improved and also how they're used day to day. The engineering team also really wanted to understand the different ways in which people rely on their Land Cruisers, and it has become apparent how many people do rely on their Land Cruisers day to day just to survive in the tough conditions that we have. But since then, we do have a local development and testing team here in Australia, and they're highly regarded within the Toyota world globally. So we have a test centre here for all of our off-road vehicles, and we do a lot of off-road testing. In fact, one of our drivers is the only person outside of Japan to have the highest level of off-road license and is considered one of a handful of Toyota's 4x4 expert test drivers. So since that time, there's been extensive testing, and we'll reveal more details as to how much input we've had here in Australia. But it's been a privilege, I guess, for us to be able to help shape and mould this new model.
Thanks, Orlando. It sounds great, and I'm sure we'll see very, very soon a number of these LC300s in and around Land Cruiser clubs Australia-wide. And just one last question. What are some of the improvements Toyota was aiming for in the development of the LC300 Land Cruiser?
Well, as you might be aware, Toyota always tries to improve everything that it does. It has a strong philosophy of Kaizen. So obviously for the LC300, it's a vehicle that we've wanted to improve in every single way. But there was sort of two main focuses of development for this vehicle. One of them was to maintain certain aspects of the LC200. So to maintain its strength, to maintain the sort of off-road status and stance that it has, the luxury feel that it has, its off-road performance, as well as its on-road technology. But the areas that we're really sort of focused on for improvement as well was the visual appeal. So obviously this latest model is quite differently styled to the previous one. There's been a lot of work done on the interior ergonomics, so things like switches and placements of buttons, especially all of the off-road functions that you need to sort of have at hand. There was also a strong focus on road comfort as well. So as well as trying to maintain or slightly improve the off-road performance, on-road comfort was something that was really picked up on with those interviews with owners who do a lot of long highway hours, as well as being part of a new platform as well. The other areas of improvement have been safety, and really it's a new TNGA platform that will allow a lot of big step forwards on the LC200. That's probably about as much as I can give away for now, but I think it's only going to be a matter of time before all of you will get to see and experience this new vehicle for yourself. But believe me when I say it's been improved in every single way.
Thanks, Orlando, and thank you for joining this afternoon and for allowing the clubs a special release of the 70th anniversary LC70. Yeah, I'd just like to thank also Toyota Motor Corporation Australia for your support of our clubs. And I just make another couple of quick thank yous as well. I'd like to also thank all of the Land Cruiser clubs Australia-wide for coming together to make this event what it was today. And my biggest thanks goes to, I guess, Richard in the studio, because without his unwavering support of our club and all of the clubs Australia-wide, with his partner Recce, with Adrian and Damien behind the scenes, this event simply would not have happened. So to you guys, and also to Mary for helping with the scripting, a big thanks from me and a big thanks from the Toyota Land Cruiser Club in New South Wales, because without you guys, as I said, this event wouldn't have happened. So from the committee in New South Wales, 50th anniversary Toyota Land Cruiser, over to you in the studio, Richard, and thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, both of you, Andrew and Orlando. Orlando, amazing announcements. And Andrew, thank you so much for the thank yous. It's lovely, and it's our pleasure to be able to do these sort of things. I think for 70th anniversary, it's well worth it. It's a big milestone, so why not? And again, as I was saying at the beginning of this show, we were all supposed to be in Broken Hill, and the guys there and all the clubs had put in a huge amount of work to make that happen. That didn't they sort of fall in the background, and we come up into the foreground. But they had put hours and hours of work into that event, and it was going to be a week-long celebration in Broken Hill. Such a shame it didn't happen, but we do the best we can. So it was our pleasure to jump in and try and help, but we do really recognize all the work that went in on an event that just unfortunately never happened. So thank you, Orlando. I said to my partner here and Damien, I said, I want one of those cars, and I swear I heard a hiccup from Chuck in the background, like this. So maybe we will. But if there is a spare one, just put it aside. If it happens to fall off the back of a truck, maybe, I don't know. But it looks amazing. And Orlando, thank you so much for announcing that first on this show. It really is. I feel privileged, and I think all the members around the world, around Australia, and then people watching online around the world will be feeling quite privileged that they got that news first. So well done. We have arrived at the end of our live stream. I've had a great time hosting this event for all of you, and I really hope that all of you enjoyed it as much as I did. The entire live stream will remain on your TLCC Facebook pages. We're also going to leave it on the streamitnow.com.au/70th. I'll say that again, streamitnow.com.au/70th. It'll stay in there for probably 2 or 3 months, and then we'll remove it. So we'll give you the opportunity to download it if you want to have a local copy. But again, you can always go back to your Land Cruiser Club's Facebook pages and watch it there. If you have any questions on that regards, just check in with your clubs, the people in charge of your Facebook pages, and ask them if you have any questions. A huge thank you to all of those who put the time and the effort into this production. The people behind the scenes here, Adrian over in Blacktown, Andrew, Mary, who helped me write up the script. She had a lot of input. She should have been here with me, but unfortunately couldn't again. All those people, all the presidents of the clubs, all the people that we met on with Zoom for the last few weeks, and putting together all this content at such short notice. It was a big ask to create a 10 to 15 minute presentation, within a couple of weeks, grabbing photographs from everywhere. So it all came together beautifully. And finally, to the Toyota Landcruiser. 1 second, I'll be right back. Here's a glass of champagne I prepared earlier. So to the Toyota Landcruiser, happy 70th anniversary. We are looking forward to many, many more milestone celebrations. Good evening, everyone. Good night. I'm going to have a stiff drink now because I need it. Thank you for watching and stay safe.